In today's video, I want to talk about my experience with Resident Evil Requiem, what I loved, what I didn't, and how this game actually pulled me back into the Resident Evil series after years away. Because honestly, I didn't expect this game to hit me the way it did. So with that said, let's get into it. But first, let's hear from today's sponsor, Jerky Pro. Jerky Pro is an American-based beef jerky company. They are FDA, USDA, and SNAP food stamp approved. They have amazing deals going on right now, like 2 1-pound bags with 2 additional 3-ounce bags for $80. Or my personal favorite, the Variety Bundle, which includes 10 assorted 3-ounce bags. But they don't just stop at beef jerky. They also have normal household groceries like meats, breads, and energy drinks. They are partnered with Texas Roadhouse and Omaha Steaks to bring you high-quality steaks that you can also buy in bulk. If you use my code DARNBLUECRAB with a capital DBC, you will get 5% off of your orders at checkout. Thank you again to Jerky Pro for sponsoring this video. Before we jump into my review, I wanted to give a little backstory about my experience with Resident Evil. Mostly so you can understand my perspective, or you can roast me in the comments. I'll leave that up to you. My Resident Evil journey actually started with Resident Evil Code Veronica on the PlayStation 2. Like a lot of kids, I was playing that game when I was definitely too young to be playing. I never actually beat the game myself. I mainly just watched, panicked, and probably backseated the hell out of my older brother the entire time. After that, I kind of drifted away from the series. I remember going to my friend's house many years later and seeing him play Resident Evil 4, and while it looked fun, it felt so different from what I remembered. It didn't really feel like the Resident Evil that I imagined in my head anymore. Not saying it was bad. Obviously, RE4 is goated, but when I think of Resident Evil, I think of that feeling of being scared, isolated, and completely hopeless. So, I stepped away from the series for a very long time, until the demo of Resident Evil 7 Biohazard started blowing up online. And, like any reasonable person at the time, I watched the countless compilation videos of streamers getting the life scared out of them. Eventually, when the game came out, I did play Resident Evil 7. I then followed that up with Village, and now we have Requiem. And I can confidently say that I am back in the Resident Evil fandom. If you guys do want to see me play through the older Resident Evil games that I missed, especially the remakes, let me know in the comments below. Now, with all of that out of the way, let's talk about what I liked about Requiem. The biggest thing that stood out to me is how the game feels like 2 completely different Resident Evil games married into one experience. And somehow, it really works. The contrast between Grace's gameplay and Leon's gameplay is huge, but it's intentional. Grace's sections lean heavily into the survival horror side of Resident Evil. You can really feel that she is not cut out for this at all. When I first encountered the girl, I froze, just like Grace did. I had no idea what I was looking at. It felt like some kind of Lovecraftian nightmare was standing right next to me. Then you start noticing the giant craters in the ceiling, the book that I forgot to read, telling me how to avoid her, and then later in the game, once Umbrella gets mentioned, everything starts to click. On the other hand, Leon's sections are the complete opposite energy. This is Leon Shoot First, Ask Questions Later S. Kennedy we're talking about. When I switched to him, I felt almost unstoppable. At least at first. And that overconfidence got me killed on more than one occasion. You can watch the playthrough in the link below. Leon's gameplay brings back that classic Resident Evil mechanics. Inventory management, choosing what weapons to carry because they take up so many slots. Yeah, I'm looking at you, rifle. And deciding what enemies you should actually fight or just run past. And I love that the game lets you do that. You don't have to clear out every room like it's a shooting gallery. But it is satisfying. Plus, Leon's one-liners are still peak dad joke energy, which honestly feels perfect for where he is as a character now, because you can tell that he has aged since the last time we've seen him. Spoiler warning, when I got to that final fight against Nemesis Gideon, my reaction was like, yeah, this is just another Wednesday for Leon. Overall, I think Capcom did a fantastic job balancing the modern horror style of the newer games like 7 and 8 with the classic Resident Evil DNA, or 2 through 4. Now, let's talk about what I didn't like. And honestly, there isn't many. Some of them seem a little nitpicky, but it's my channel, I get to do what I want. First off, Grace has zero athletic ability. At the beginning of the game, when you are following her mom through the hotel, I can assure you guys I was sprinting that entire time, but it felt like I was moving through wet cement. I understand that she is not no track star, but sometimes the stealth sections seem to slow down to a crawl because of how slow she was moving. Another thing that pulled me out of the experience was how often Grace stutters when she talks. At the beginning of the game, it makes sense. She is terrified. Everything is just unfolding in front of her. But by the time we get to Raccoon City and she's traveling with Zeno, she should have calmed down at least somewhat. And it started to feel repetitive and a little comical towards the end. Other than that, I really don't have many more complaints, and I don't have any about Leon sections. They're exactly what you would expect, that action-heavy Resident Evil gameplay, and they do it really well. Even with those small issues, Resident Evil Requiem ended up being a very enjoyable experience for me. The way it blends the slow, tense horror gameplay with the classic action-heavy Resident Evil formula is very impressive, and it makes the whole game feel like a celebration of the series. More importantly, it makes me want to go back and play the older games that I missed. Unfortunately, my PlayStations are long gone, so I'll probably have to check out the remakes instead. But if that is something you guys want to see me do on my channel, sound off in the comments below. As always, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit a like and subscribe for more Resident Evil content. This has been Darn Blue Crab the Gamer, and I am signing off. Peace.